This is Lisa from MobileTechReview, and to continue our Android tablet smackdowns, today we're comparing the Asus Eee Pad Transformer on the left and the Acer Iconia Tab A500 on the right. Now, both of these are lower cost Android tablets, not hugely cheaper than Motorola and Samsung's offering, for example, but as the lower end of the Tier 1 manufacturer spectrum, Asus and Acer, they always go to get you a little bit more bang for the buck, and that's what these guys do. They also both go with the theory that you need more ports, which is nice compared to both the Motorola and certainly the Samsung, which is a virtually portless device without buying some adapters. So these are both Android tablets with pretty much identical specs. They're both available at 16 or 32 gigs of storage. The Asus manages to be the least expensive. It is $399 for the 16 gig versus $449 for the Acer and 16 gig, and each of them is $100 more if you want to go up to 32 gigs of storage. Both have NVIDIA Tegra 2 CPUs running at 1 gigahertz, and they're dual core. They have 1280 by 800 pixel capacitive multi-touch displays, a gig of RAM, and they have the usual GPS, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN. Both have both front and rear cameras. They're both 5 megapixel rear cameras, however I'd say the Asus does a bit better job with photos. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Now the Acer has gotten a hard time because it is the biggest and the heaviest of tablets, so it's pretty close to the Motorola Zoom actually in terms of weight. It's nice looking though. It's got this kind of silver finish here and the brushed metal on the back. Doesn't show fingerprints very much. Here's the speaker grills over here, your camera and your LED flash. On the top we've got a rotation lock switch, which is unusual on Android tablets and most welcome. You've got your volume rockers up here. HDMI on the side, your headphone jack, your power button that lights up amber when it's charging, turns to green when it's fully charged. Proprietary connector down at the bottom, but that's okay because it also has a micro USB port that you can use for file transfer, and a full-size USB port that works with some but not all USB peripherals. It works with USB keyboards we found, and USB flash drives. Does not work with external hard drives. Unpowered external hard drives. Does not work with mice reliably either. Maybe when it gets Android 3.1 honeycomb that will change. Right now it's still running 3.0 or 3.01 to be exact, and this guy's the last to the game to get Android OS 3.1. The Eee Transformer, on the other hand, got its update to 3.1 just after the Motorola Zoom, which is functionally the Nexus phone version of tablets here, and it always gets updates first. So Asus, right up there with getting updates right away. Of course, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 shipped with 3.1 OS. Take a look at the Asus Eee Pad Transformer up close. Nice looking. You've got kind of that bronzy, coppery, metallic finish. And this one has a, frankly, plastic back with a texture that does feel nice. And it's a bit lighter. It's 1.5 pounds versus 1.7 pounds for the Acer. On the side here you've got a headphone jack, mini HDMI, and a micro SD card slot. Down here we've got the dock connector, volume controls, power button up here, and nothing up top. Now the Acer also has a micro SD card slot, and that's underneath the plastic door here. It's a pry-off door. And a piece of tape covers a SIM card slot. This does not have a 3G radio in it, but AT&T will be carrying it with 3G, so it looks like they made the same casing for both. So both of these have micro SD card expansion. In terms of size, overall, these two are very similar. The Acer is a little bit thicker, and they're both longer, even though they all have the same display aspect ratio, but they're both longer than the Motorola Zoom, which we have right here, and you can see it's not as long as either of those guys. And compared to the Samsung Galaxy Tab, that's also quite a long device, same as both. And of course, the Galaxy Tab is the thinnest and the lightest among all these tablets, but right now we're looking at the Acer and the Asus. Both of these are Wi-Fi only tablets. You can use this with a smartphone that acts as a mobile hotspot, for example, if you need to have data on the go, or you can wait for the AT&T version of the Iconia that's supposedly coming. As we said, they both have the same 1280 by 800 pixel display, but all displays are not created equal. The display on the Acer is very similar to the Motorola Zoom, which is to say it's sharp, it's good, but it's distinctly average. It's not super colorful, it's not really sharp. The viewing angles are okay, it's not wildly bright. Whereas the Asus has an IPS display, near 180-degree viewing angles. Really bright, really sharp. Definitely the nicer display on the Asus Eee Pad Transformer. In terms of performance, they're both equally responsive experientially, and also they do about the same on benchmarks. Now we can't benchmark the Acer running Honeycomb 3.1, which actually brings down benchmark numbers a little bit on Quadrant. But looking at them right now, they're within 150 points of each other, so we expect them to be about the same. Where the Acer falls down is on 1080p video playback, and there's nothing wrong with the CPU or RAM. It's something about the codecs that are missing or aren't running properly on the Acer. Now we originally reviewed this guy back in April, and we've been through some firmware updates for it, and it still has the same problem with 1080p video playback. The only thing it can play in MPEG format is a baseline simple profile. It can't play anything like high profile or advanced profiles, whereas the Transformer can. The Transformer may start to drop frames if you're looking at some of the high profile videos on 1080, but if you're just looking at baseline profile, it plays them both fine. And we'll show you what we're talking about right now. We've tried a whole range of MPEG-4 files with this and seen the same results. We're just going to pick one among the several that we have. We're going to play the Bourne Identity trailer on both of these. You can see that the Acer is kind of turning this into a slideshow. It just really can't keep up. Whereas the Asus Eee Pad Transformer is playing it fine. And now, again, we've tried about 10 different trailers. We're going to try the True Grit trailer, also 1080p, but this one is in high profile, so it's going to throw an exception and not even play on the Acer, but it will play with some frame drops on the Transformer. And this just says failed to load because it won't even try when it comes to high profile or anything above simple profile, where it's playing right here on the Transformer. So it's definitely some video codec issues here with the Acer. We're not really sure what they did with that. They are the ones who have so far most customized the operating system, though. And that may be having its effect not only with taking the longest to get the 3.1 update, but also with video playback. So when it comes to movie watching, at least if you're going to be side-loading movies of your own, you definitely want to record in a simple profile and perhaps a low resolution for the Acer. But overall, we have to give the thumbs up for the Transformer for movie watching folks. That said, the Acer does have better sounding speakers, and in that way, we wish it could play movies better because it has Dolby Mobile software installed and really nice, pretty loud speakers with reasonable fullness, whereas the Transformer speakers are just meh. And now we'll test flash video playback. You're on YouTube full site right here. I'm just going to go with the M&M video that's featured up front on both of these. And it's going to play in 360p in a window.
Get an ice tray, or buy a PC for college.
After commercial interruption.
Buy a fridge for college. Get an ice tray, or buy a PC for college. Get an Xbox 360.
Windows.com/free-Xbox.
Unlock the deal at Windows.com/free-Xbox.
We touch, I feel a rush. We clutch, it isn't much, but it's enough to make me wonder what's in store for us.
We touch, I feel a rush. We clutch, it isn't much,
Yeah, switch to full screen.
enough to make me wonder what's in store for us.
My trust, don't play games, it'll be dangerous.
Me wonder what's in store for us. It's lust, it's torturous.
And now they're both playing the same video full screen and they're doing just fine. So flash video performance is equal. Amazon Instant Video also works on both of these. That's flash based, so that's pretty cool. There actually is a DRM sort of movie solution that is available for both of these guys, and it works on both of them just fine. Now let's talk about expandability for a minute, because these two are more expandable than other Android tablets currently on the market. We have the full-size USB port on the Acer Iconia A500, which is really cool. You know, you just plug your flash drive right in there, your keyboard, that kind of thing. With the ePad Transformer, there is no full-size USB port on the device itself, nor is there adapter. But if you get the optional $149 keyboard, you get two USB ports, one here, both USB 2.0 ports, and an SD card slot. With the Acer Iconia, the USB port has worked for us with keyboards and with flash drives. It has not worked with hard drives, powered or unpowered so far, and it doesn't like to work with mice. Now, if it gets the Honeycomb 3.1 upgrade, that may help with further support, because we assume Acer had to write their own driver to get that working on this. Whereas with the Transformer, all of those things work. Keyboards, mice, powered, unpowered, external hard drives, and flash drives work fine. The only thing that we couldn't get working was optical drives, because I don't believe this operating system has the necessary files to support that. So in terms of expandability, if you're going to look at the Transformer with the keyboard dock, then you get a lot more expandability. If you're looking at them solo, obviously this guy has the full USB port built in, which does work with keyboards and flash drives. Depends on what it is you're looking to plug in with these devices. Now, both of these guys have a front-facing camera as well as rear cameras. This one is centered up top here on the Asus Eee Pad Transformer, which is a more natural position. Works with Google Talk Video. Likewise, the Acer has a camera that works with Google Talk Video, but the camera is oddly placed to the side, so if you like to feature your left ear when video chatting with your friends, that's awesome, but otherwise it's kind of bizarre and not really very convenient. We don't know why they did that. On the back, we have 5-megapixel camera here, no LED flash. On the back we have a 5-megapixel camera with an LED flash and a large glass window around the camera. Now, I would say the Transformer takes a bit better 720p video and shoots better images, but the Acer is actually not too bad, and it's better, I'd say, than Samsung Galaxy Tab, which only has a 3-megapixel camera. In terms of battery life, they're about equal. They run for almost 8 hours on a charge, both of these guys. Now, if you add the E-Transformer dock in, you get a secondary battery built in, so you almost double battery life. You had 6 hours of battery life for a total of about 14 hours of battery life. So again, there's a kind of a win there, especially because the 16 gig version of the Transformer Plus's keyboard dock is going to set you back $550, which is $100 more than the base Iconia and less than other competing tablets on the market. In terms of software, they've both customized the software a bit. Asus has played it safe, and they've just added in some applications. They haven't tried to change the user interface or integrate their applications, whereas Acer has, and again, that may be why they're about a month behind on getting that Honeycomb 3.1 software upgrade. You can see down here we've got shortcuts to basically folders or portals to functionality here. We've got the multimedia apps, for example, which is really just a compendium of apps that both Acer has created and Google's created. We've got YouTube Player here. We have Nemo Player, which if you use it and you say use it to play video, it's only going to switch over to Gallery to play the videos anyway. A photo browser, their Clear.fi utility, and this kind of cute drawer metaphor. Likewise for e-reading, they've created a similar interface over here, and they have their LumiRead application, which reads EPUB books. And if you want to buy books, they only support a couple of countries right now. It used to just be Germany and Taiwan. Now they've added France, Italy, and Spain as well. And they have links to EPUB books, Libri.de, Feedbooks. Not exactly going to compete with Nook and Kindle, say, for purchasing books. And we've also got Google Books put in here. And of course this is Google Books too. And it also has Asus's ebook reader, which I prefer because it's the only one so far that allows side loading of ebooks. The application is called My Library. And we're in a book right now, and you can see it's attractive enough book, and this is a book that I have side loaded, and it also works in portrait mode. And if you want to shop, you can shop at the eVibe bookstore. It also supports newspapers too via Press Display Newspaper Direct. And we'll open up a book here that we downloaded for free from Feedbooks. It's a public domain book, and this is how it looks. bit slower on swiping. You can see there is no side-by-side page view mode here. You turn it to portrait orientation, more readable. And you have options for your font size, for search, and for adding bookmarks, and for going to the table of contents, which is the same as on the Asus. Now, of course, with both of these guys, you can download Kindle for Android, Nook for Android. They're going to run full screen. It's a very nice reading experience. Kobo books also, and then there are free EPUB readers too for non-DRM EPUBs, and some that even support Adobe Adept DRM EPUB as well. So you got plenty of reading options besides what's built in here. In terms of bundled software, we find that the software that Asus has included more useful. They've got their splash top remote desktop control application utility, some cloud storage, nice stuff like that. The Acer stuff is a little bit more of eye candy, as you saw, and maybe not terribly as much useful. They're more like front ends to a lot of built-in functions. Both of these Android tablets can handle 3D gaming just fine. They do have the NVIDIA dual-core 1 GHz CPU with graphics acceleration, and Acer bundles more demo versions of games for you to try out, but you can certainly download demos on the Asus as well and visit NVIDIA's Tegra 2 zone to check out some of the games that are available there. So there you have the two lower-priced competing Android tablets on the market. I lean towards the Transformer. As you can probably tell, I love the IPS display. It's a bit thinner and lighter. And with the keyboard dock, it's incredibly versatile what you can do. We have the USB full-size port on the Acer Iconia, but right now it's not supporting a large variety of USB devices, which kind of detracts from an otherwise really neat feature. It is bigger and heavier than other tablets, but then again, so will be the Toshiba Thrive, which at first in January of this year when Toshiba showed this at CES and then later at CTIA, folks were saying, oh my goodness, what a big ungainly tablet, but now they've come to appreciate the fact that it has multiple USB ports and a lot of functionality built in. So this one moves in the direction of Toshiba for being a bit bigger and having a lot of functionality, but it's not quite as far there as we would like it to be. Still, it's a solid tablet for $449. It's nicely built. You like the aluminum casing on it. Just doesn't go the extra mile that the Transformer does for innovation and for the literally transformative ability of the device. The Asus Eee Pad Transformer sells for $399 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version, $499 for the 32 gig Wi-Fi version, and the Acer Iconia Tab A500 is $450 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version and $550 with 32 gigs. I'm Lisa from MobileTechReview, and visit our website to read a full review of both of these tablets. And be sure to check out our video reviews of both of these tablets as well on YouTube.